Why does one mean comment stay with you for weeks, while a genuine compliment disappears before you even finish hearing it? You probably think you're being humble, maybe even modest, but here's what's actually happening. Your brain is running a survival script so old, so deeply wired, that it literally treats praise like a lie and criticism like the gospel truth. And today I'm going to show you exactly why that is, where it came from, and how to finally stop letting your survival instincts destroy your self-worth. Before we go deeper, if this is already hitting close to home, hit that like button and subscribe. We're building a community of people who are done filtering out the good and ready to finally see themselves clearly. This message needs to reach them. Here's something that will reframe everything you thought you knew about yourself. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not unusually insecure. You are human. And your brain was literally designed to do exactly what it's doing. Think back to early human survival. Your ancestors didn't die from too many compliments. They died from ignoring threats. The predator in the grass, the rival tribe at the border, the poisoned fruit. Every human who survived long enough to become your ancestor was someone who paid more attention to danger than to safety, who treated every threat as urgent and every moment of peace as temporary. That survival wiring is still running in you right now. Scientists call it negativity bias, and it means your brain is fundamentally built to prioritize negative information over positive information. Not because something is wrong with you, but because for most of human history, that instinct kept people alive. Here's how it plays out in your daily life. Someone at work says your presentation was impressive. Your brain registers it, maybe nods at it, and moves on. But then someone in the comments, someone you've never met, someone whose opinion changes nothing about your actual life, says you seemed nervous. And that one sentence. It moves in, it unpacks its bags, it's still there 3 weeks later at 2 a.m. when you're trying to sleep. This is what researchers call the Velcro and Teflon effect. Your brain is Velcro for the bad and Teflon for the good. Negative experiences stick. Positive ones slide right off. And the worst part is, your brain doesn't do this randomly. It does it on purpose. Because somewhere in your ancient wiring, criticism still feels like a social predator. A signal that you are about to be rejected, cast out, left behind. And to your nervous system, social rejection doesn't feel like hurt feelings. It feels like death. So your brain does what it was built to do. It locks onto the threat. It analyzes it, replays it, prepares for it. While the compliment, the praise, the genuine appreciation gets treated as irrelevant data. Background noise. Something that doesn't require your survival attention. Stay with me because now that you understand the wiring, I need to show you the second layer. The one that makes it personal. Negativity bias explains why criticism sticks. But it doesn't fully explain why compliments don't just fade, they actively feel wrong. Why when someone tells you that you did something well, something inside you immediately wants to correct them, to list your flaws, to convince them they're mistaken. That part isn't just biology, that part is a story you were taught. I want you to think about something. When you were young, what happened when you were praised? Not just once, but consistently. Was the praise followed by conditions? Were you celebrated for exactly who you were, or only for what you performed? Were your achievements genuinely seen, or were they diminished, compared, or quietly ignored? Because here's what happens to children who grow up in environments where positive attention is unpredictable, conditional, or absent. They build a mental filter, a deeply personal lens through which all incoming information has to pass before it gets accepted as true. And that filter has one job: to only allow in information that matches what the child already believes about themselves. So if a child grows up believing, even unconsciously, that they are not quite enough, not quite worthy, not quite deserving of uncomplicated love, that filter becomes extraordinarily efficient. Criticism slides right through because it matches. It confirms what they already suspect about themselves. But a compliment gets stopped at the door, examined, questioned, rejected. You tell yourself the person is just being polite. They don't really mean it. They haven't seen the full picture yet. They would think differently if they really knew you. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort that happens when new information contradicts an existing belief. And here's what makes it so painful. When someone offers you genuine praise, and your internal self-image is built on shame, those two things cannot coexist without conflict. Your brain has to choose one. And because the shame has been there longer, because it feels more familiar, more certain, more like home, your brain almost always chooses the shame. So the compliment doesn't just fade, it gets actively rejected. Not because you are arrogant or difficult, but because accepting it would mean dismantling a belief system your nervous system has spent years reinforcing. And here is where it gets really important. Every time you reject a compliment, you are not just protecting yourself from feeling awkward in the moment. You are sending your brain a message. You are telling it the shame is right. The praise is wrong. Keep the filter, keep the wall. Keep the story, and your brain listens every single time. Here's what I want you to do right now. Think about the last genuine compliment someone gave you, not a throwaway nice job, a real one. Something someone said that for just a moment before your brain shut it down felt true. Now notice what happened next. Did you deflect it, minimize it, laugh it off, immediately point out a flaw? Did you feel a strange discomfort, like the compliment was somehow dangerous? That discomfort is not a character flaw. It is your nervous system doing its job, a job it learned when you were too young to have any say in the matter. But you are not that child anymore, and this is where the work begins. The first step is to stop arguing with the compliment. You don't have to believe it completely. You don't have to feel it fully. You just have to stop correcting it. When someone says you did something well, your only job in that moment is to say thank you and let them finish. Not to convince them they are wrong. Not to list the ways you almost failed. Just thank you, full stop. This will feel uncomfortable. Your inner critic will immediately start presenting evidence against the compliment. Let it talk. Just don't let it take over your mouth. The second step is to start asking yourself a different question. Instead of asking, is this compliment true? Start asking, why is this so hard to receive? Because the difficulty isn't about the compliment. It's about the filter. And every time you notice the filter activating, you are getting a window into the exact belief that needs your attention. The third step is the one most people skip, because it feels the most vulnerable. Start paying attention to the compliments you deflect and write them down. Not to prove they're true, but just to hold them long enough to examine them. Because when praise lives only in the moment it's given, your brain never gets the chance to sit with it, process it, or let it leave any kind of imprint. The Velcro and Teflon effect is not permanent. You can teach your brain to hold onto good information, but you have to stop throwing it away before it has a chance to stick. Here is what I want you to really understand before you leave. You were not born believing that criticism is truth and praise is a lie. You were taught that by circumstances, by environments, by survival systems that were never supposed to follow you into your adult life. The brain that filters out compliments isn't your enemy. It was built to protect you, but you have outgrown the threat it was designed for, and you deserve to update the script. You are allowed to be seen accurately, not just in your failures, not just in your flaws, but in your effort, your growth, your genuine impact on the people around you. The next time someone offers you a compliment, try something different. Don't correct them. Don't minimize what they see. Just say thank you, take a breath, and let the words exist for a moment without fighting them. That is not arrogance. That is not vanity. That is just the beginning of finally seeing yourself the way people who love you already do. If this gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs to hear that they're allowed to be seen clearly. Subscribe, because every week we go deeper into the patterns that keep brilliant people stuck and the specific ways to finally break free. You don't have to keep living inside a filter that was never meant to be permanent. And it starts with something as simple as learning to say thank you and meaning it.